All right, let's go to the North. The AFC North. We talked to Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Which AFC North team more likely to make the playoffs this year, Browns or Steelers?
Man, this is one of those classic high ceiling and high floor type of situations. Like the Steelers, you can bet, are going to be on the doorstep, right? It's Mike Tomlin's team.
Yep.
Never had a losing season. They're always going to be right there.
They're right there last year.
I think the Browns have more variance because they didn't win a whole lot of games last year. But if Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson again, there's unlimited upside for how good Cleveland can be. I mean, nobody wants to try to block Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith on that defense. Jim Schwartz is going to change the way that they play. He's going to have an attacking style. You know that because he's got a long track record of doing that. They add a guy like Elijah Moore, who they really highly regard as a slot type of receiver, to Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They've still got Nick Chubb in the backfield. I think that Deshaun Watson's the biggest X factor in all this. That's a tough call. I mean, if you're saying, like, if I'm playing the percentages here, I say the Steelers just because I know that they're going to be competitive. But the Browns are a team that, if things go their way, I mean, I don't think it's outlandish to say we could be talking about a team that can contend to win it all.
Ooh. All right, last one. Free agents. We've been talking a lot about these two guys. Which free agent currently more likely to have the bigger impact in 2023? DeAndre Hopkins or Dalvin Cook?
It's Dalvin Cook, just based upon the fact that he's coming off 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He's 27 years old. He finally got his shoulder fixed. Hop can still play, but he's missed a lot of time between the suspension, the injuries. He's not been that guy, and D-Hop would be the first one to say it. So again, if we're just playing the percentages here, give me the guy who's been productive nonstop for the last, I mean, really throughout his entire career. Cook tore his ACL in 2017, but ever since then, he's been one of the game's best and most dynamic backs. With Hopkins at age 31, I believe, going on 32, is he still going to be able to do it? Is he going to integrate? I mean, there's not a lot of guys who do the things that he does. Fit's going to be really important there, whether it's Tennessee, New England, or maybe somebody else comes into the mix. I think that's what's going to dictate a lot of this.
Best guess, where do these guys end up?
That's a hard question.
I know it's not your game to kind of speculate recklessly
right.
like this.
I mean, listen, I think that Dalvin Cook is going to land with a surprise team. I think that DeAndre Hopkins most likely is going to land with one of the teams we think it's going to be. I think that Hop, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. That could be done by the end of this week, whether it's New England or whether it's Tennessee. He makes a lot of sense for both of those teams. You know, Bill Belichick likes him a lot. We've heard him say that in the past, how highly he regards Hopkins' game. And then Tennessee, obviously, he's got the relationship with Mike Vrabel as well. I mean, if you're Hop, one of the questions you got to ask yourself, too, is this is kind of you're in all likelihood looking at a one-year deal. You're thinking, if I can have a big season, if I can show that if I can stay healthy, if I can show I'm still DeAndre Hopkins, I can get one more big contract. Because wide receivers can be productive into their mid-30s, but I got to show I can do it. Do you want to bet the rest of your career on Ryan Tannehill or Mac Jones? I think that's a question that you have to consider here. Now, money's going to drive some of this too. He's going to want to be in the right spot. The whole wants to play for a Super Bowl contender thing is overblown. He's not going to these teams thinking like they're front runners in the AFC. There's a lot of good teams you got to get through in the AFC, but you do need to make sure that you're with the right quarterback in this situation because he doesn't want to end up in another spot where he's frustrated.
Is it curious to you that no NFC team is involved in DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't think it's really an AFC-NFC thing. I think that part of it is the familiarity. I mean, if you ask around, quite frankly, like if you ask around to people who DeAndre Hopkins has played with, played for, he's not everybody's cup of tea. You're going to get mixed reports on it. But I think that it says something that the two of the guys who are with him in Houston, Vrabel and Bill O'Brien, both want him. Right. O'Brien's the guy who traded him away, and there were a lot of dynamics involved in that. But there's not an issue with their relationship where it can't work. And if you're O'Brien and you're trying to get back to being an NFL head coach, why wouldn't you want a guy who's already knows your system, can walk in the door, run the entire route tree, and potentially elevate your young quarterback who you also need to play well if you're going to be competitive and try to get back into the playoffs? So whereas Dalvin Cook, he's a running back. He's a really good running back.
Yeah.
You can drop him into any one of the 32 teams. I mean, probably not back to Minnesota, but the other 31 teams, and he's going to be productive. Now, there's some fits that are going to be better than others. There's no question about it. What did he tell us yesterday? I want to go a place where I'm valued. I want to go a place where I can get in the football. He's not looking to go into some place and be a rotational back, not at this stage in his career. He's a guy who he gets lathered up. He thrives on volume. That's what he's going to want. What spot is that? Give me the field. If it's Dolphins or Broncos versus the field, which you didn't ask me, I think we could ask that. That would have been a good one.
But that's a good question.
I'll take the field.
Got it.
I'll take the field.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.